Good morning. Today we have a follow-up on a question that we answered previously because something we said was unclear. And that's going to happen a lot, probably.
A lot of follow-up.
A lot of follow-up, yeah. So on a video that was a question about physical boundaries in a dating relationship, a man said, well, how can I know that we're going to, if we were to get married, that you're going to be a good kisser, that we would work out physically and all that kind of thing. And I said that was bogus. I said that marriage is about so much more than kissing and physical intimacy. Yes, physical intimacy is important, I said, but as far as can we get along and have a good marriage, that's probably 0.5%. That's what I said. And husband said I was going to say 1%. And then the question comes, what did you mean by that? And we actually didn't know what we meant by that, and we didn't talk about with each other what each other meant by that. But we're here to explain what we meant to clear up any confusion, because yes, we understand physical intimacy in marriage is very important. Mm-hmm. It's commanded. The Bible says, do not, is that Hebrews? Keep the marriage bed pure. Do not, that's Hebrews. Do not withhold except for a limited time to give yourself to prayer. Right. And so we definitely acknowledge that physical intimacy is very important in marriage. What I meant by that, and then we'll see what husband meant. I meant two things. First of all, this was in the context of dating. And when you're evaluating what is important in another person to be a potential marriage partner, there are some huge things to look for. First of all, there's their walk with God. Are they a Christian? Not just any Christian, because as I discovered when I was dating online and everybody called themselves a Christian, there are many different kinds of Christians. Mm-hmm. Are they a Christian who has left everything to follow Jesus, basically? Do they have a transformed life? Does he impact everything that they do? That to me is at least 50%, maybe 100% of what you need. The other very important factor that you need is kindness and good character. And both of those things, if you have someone who is very attractive, but doesn't have those things, the attractiveness is worthless, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Now, you do also have to have attractiveness, because I dated someone who had both of those first two things. He was a strong Christian, he had good character, and I just didn't feel a spark, a connection, the chemistry. And so I do acknowledge for sure that chemistry is there. It has to be there and it's important, but you're probably not going to be well, I don't know if you're going to be dating someone. It probably won't last very long. Actually, I can't say that. I don't know. For me, it had to end eventually without the spark.
I don't think you get to the bottom of that question by experimenting.
Which question? Oh,
and getting physical.
Are you a good kisser? That's right.
I think you get that answer. You probably know it intuitively going in. It's like, yeah, you may find them more attractive, and I know that this is a little different for women because you do want the character, or you're looking at those things and you bond more to that. But for a man, I don't think that men are going to come to an epiphany of whether or not somebody's attractive or not by experimenting in the physical touch. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, that argument is a cover-up for selfishness.
Yeah.
And this is fast-forwarding a little bit to another point that I was going to make. But if this is, let me find it. Yeah. So I'm just going to back up. So one, I was talking about what qualities the man has. Number two, I was talking about the time spent in marriage. So for a happy, successful marriage, I used to think before I got married, why would a married couple ever be bored? They could just have sex whenever they're bored. We spend 24/7 together. Sometimes we want some of our own space and time, just because I'm an introvert and I like to be alone, but I don't get to be alone anymore. But anyway, the time spent in building a healthy, happy marriage, especially when you have little children, is the time spent in physical intimacy and affection is very small amount of the time in the grand scheme of things. And so that's another aspect of what I was talking about when I said 0.5%. So anyway, back to what you were saying, there are a lot of, we do acknowledge there are major conflicts around sexuality, around sex in marriage. You know, it's one of the top 5 or whatever that couples have issues around. And so if that is what someone is trying to guard against, like you said, the better way than experimenting with the physical to make sure it's not an issue in marriage, I think would be to have conversation around, like he's mentioned, you know, are you going to withhold sex if you're as a manipulative tool, or if you're not pleased with me? So those are I think it's a more fruitful way to guard against also just their character, to guard against problems in that area in marriage than by experiment. If anything, I think the experimentation would exacerbate those problems.
Yeah, I agree. I think being on the same page, going into marriage, is extremely important. I think that
through
was
talking.
Right, through talking.
Yeah. So, you know, for a woman, and you mentioned what attracts men versus what attracts women is different. Women find like a man helping around the house very attractive, you know, and appealing. And so those qualities that really matter for a woman are going to increase his attractiveness to her than just him. Like I heard one very young person say, I just want him to be hot. You know, whoever comes to her way, I just want him to be hot. And I think as younger, but maybe any age, women have can over prioritize the physical and not understand that there are other things, like that no matter how hot he is, if he's a jerk, it's not going to be a fun relationship to be in. So, do you have anything else to add? I want to make sure we're clear. What I meant by, and actually I should ask you what you meant by the 1%. What I meant by the 0.5% is the overall importance of the qualities that he possesses, although chemistry and physical attractiveness are important, and the total amount of time spent on this area in marriage compared to everything else that goes into marriage is relatively small. Yeah,
I agree. It's what I was answering that is how much does it really in the day-to-day come down to if you were to compare everything else as far as selection of a mate?
Yeah.
I mean, a character, like we've talked about, anger, are they able to
addict?
Right,
you know?
right. I mean, there are just so many other factors that to fixate on that being like a determinant is probably not. That's what we were kind of rebelling against or saying, don't go there. That's not valid. We're trying to minimize that because it's not going to be the number one factor.
Yeah.
Even for him. I mean, no. So, not in a good, healthy marriage.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think, and this is going to probably go long here, but just really looking at what does matter. You know, can they say they're sorry? How do you resolve conflict? Those things are going to be
parenting styles.
Because sex is not going to overcome that in the long run. I guess that's the point.
Yeah.
Your ability to work together, pair together, partner,
respect each other,
have the same views on money, on where you spend money, how you spend time, how you resolve conflict. Those are the areas to get to first. And I mean, really, they're so much more important. So I think that's really what we were trying to get at.
Yeah.
Is there should be, I think, very little reason that you would ever get stuck on the physical. In
lack of compatibility.
Right. Lack of compatibility being one of the primary issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
If we muddied the waters even more, I'm sure you'll let us know. Someone will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right.